Engaging celebrity interviews. Exciting updates from Christian filmmakers. Movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely. And so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Faith on Film. How you doing, Holly?
Doing great, Isaac. We've got a good show today, but we've got a lot to talk about. But first...
Well, we've got something exciting here. Look at this.
All right. The Silver Crown Award for Best Video Podcast is a tie. The award goes to Faith on Film number 194, Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure, producers.
We got an award!
We're proud of this. We're proud of it because you guys, you make it possible for us, our viewers and people who watch our show. We really appreciate you. It was exciting to win that. It really was. Yes. You know, there are a lot of amazing films out. That was for honoring faith-based films and productions. And, you know, we have several of those that are in theaters and are popular right now. And I love to talk about it because it's more and more these days, Isaac, where you and I are talking about faith films that are in theaters, that are #1 films. And that's exciting. It didn't used to be that way.
Absolutely. Well, which one do we start out with?
Let's start with House of David, because this show that's streaming is taking off. In fact, it beat out Reacher, which is their #1, it's everyone loves to watch it.
Right.
Reacher, it beat that out and it's climbed to the top. And I'm so proud of what they've done here. John Irwin and John Gunn, who directed, John Irwin produced it, because they had a dream to do something that's really different that can reach everyone internationally, universally, and this has done it.
Let's take a look at the trailer. Just how wonderful this project is. But you did an interview a couple of weeks ago with John. Maybe we should take a look at that.
Let's do John Irwin. I was so excited to see this and can't wait to see the rest. It was phenomenal. Great. I mean, this is beautifully. Oh my gosh, above and beyond. Excited when you've seen something that's a marker that is gonna, be popular not only with just Christian audience, but all over the world. This is an amazing story.
That means so much to me. Thank you.
Oh, such an amazing story. I can't wait. Isaac and I are going to do a whole half hour on it. So we're excited to do this and cover it. But I really wanted to ask you, first and foremost, there's kind of a controversial thing. Let's talk about the fun stuff. There's many people that don't believe that David was illegitimate. And of course, this is part of your story that he does. Why did you choose that? And where did that come from to feature that in the story?
Yeah, that's a great question. And of all the things that we really wrestled to the ground and really researched, it's this question of David's origin. And, I really felt a necessity to develop a storyline that tried to explain how David spoke of himself. He talks of himself as illegitimate, as an outcast, not only in his family, but to his community. And then you have the very glaring fact that all of Jesse's sons were called before the prophet Samuel, except David. So it's like, why was this kid hidden away? Why would David write about himself and say he was illegitimate and disdained and despised in his own family and then also in his town? And then the greater metaphor that God really does choose the outcasts, he uses the weak things of the world to confound the wise. And so we went very deep into rabbinic tradition that's very difficult to understand and portray. And so we developed this storyline to try to bring, a visual and emotional portrayal of his relationship with his mother and some sort of exploration that might explain how David spoke of himself. Whether or not you agree with that choice, because that's the biggest gap we had to fill in, because there's no mention of his mother of substance in the Bible at all, except there's one verse. And so, but there is the way he spoke about himself and his origin that is glaring and apparent and a big part of his story. And so this is at the very least a conversation that I look forward to people having, because I think so many of us feel like we are the outcast or that the thing that's despised or we don't feel legitimate. We all feel like David spoke about himself, at one time or another.
I had never really thought about that. So it was interesting to me as I watched it. I'm like, oh, this is a new concept. I mean, I've heard the story of David and Goliath since birth. So, it's not something that you feel like you can get new, but this was a lot of new. And because there are a lot of things that are not spoken, you pick up on that. And I love how it's done. I know it's hard to say because there's so many hours of amazing, incredible, epic performances, but do you have one of your favorites, or was there a favorite or two scene or something that dear to your heart when we see it?
There's so many. I mean, first of all, I'm a fan of the material. And the fact that Prime Video globally, Amazon, has given creative control to believers is unbelievable in this.
Yes.
And it's a testament to the loudness of our voice as a community, whether it's in support of something like The Chosen or my films like Jesus Revolution, or I can only imagine they've done this. And so, at the very, I'm first a huge fan of the material.
Yes.
So there were moments where we're filming David Goliath and Michael, who's this amazing Christian kid as well, first role. We were literally like, we're doing David and Goliath. Like we're filming David and Goliath. This is crazy. And so that was amazing. But then also some of the material that Stephen Lang, who plays the prophet Samuel, and one of the great actors of our time, whether it's in Avatar or Tombstone, I mean, he's a fundamental actor. Yes. He's amazing. Amazing character actor. Some of the material that he delivers, which is sort of the deeper meaning and thematic material of the series, he has a scene where he talks to David's father later in the season, where he says basically the sacrifices that are most meaningful are the ones that are most precious to us.
Yes.
You have to offer God the very best, the things you care most about, and that's a very, very profound scene for me, and they do an amazing job. So I love that moment, but then there's nothing like portraying David and Goliath. That moment where Michael gets up, spoiler alert, David kills Goliath. I'm just going to say it. It's in the Bible.
But you know what? I never thought about him falling down. I mean, I never thought about that. There were so many new things you introduced. I'm like, wait, what? It was great.
Yeah. It's I wanted him to rise up, and so I wanted to knock him down so he would get back up. And I hope the audience as well, you're cheering for him to get back up on his feet, which he does. But it was a pretty amazing thing to portray, and Michael's so good in it, and I just can't wait for the audience to see it. We've been working on this for a very, very long time, and we've just poured our hearts and souls into it. And there's almost 700 people working on the series.
Oh my gosh!
And so it's just this amazing group, and I can't wait for people to finally get to see it. And this first, made some films that I love and I'm very proud of, and made them with wonderful people. But this is the first truly global release in my career, so it's going to be, released all over the world on February the 27th.
And because this, I worked with Mel Gibson on The Passion, but I have the same excitement for you on this, because I think this is going to reach beyond what audiences may even think. It's going to reach beyond that, and the way that it's going to be distributed, and it's going to be life-changing for so many people.
Well, that's high praise. And Mel is a master craftsman. I mean, he's just one of the great craftsmen in the film industry, and has really blazed a trail. And of course, Dallas, who's just a wonderful friend, has created something so amazing with The Chosen. And I have the good fortune of being like second in the water here, and calling him most every day to ask his advice on portraying the Bible. And I just hope people realize that I remember when some of the executives read the scripts for the first time, the first 3 scripts, they said, man, these scripts are really good. I'm like, it's based off a bestseller. You should check it out and read it. It's a really good book. And I hope that's what people do. I hope they see the series and it drives them to the Bible itself and to the Psalms of David. There's a profound truth to the Psalms, and I hope people read them.
Thank you, John. Thank you. I was going to ask about working with John Gunn, but I'm out of time. But I've worked with both of you, and I love it. I'm so proud of you.
John's the best collaborator you could ever ask for. I love him dearly, and would be lost and adrift without him. And his movie Unbreakable Boy is fantastic and coming out very soon as well.
Such a great show. Folks, it's on Amazon Prime, and it's releasing shows every week. So it's not done yet. I mean, you can go back and watch the first, I think, 4, but it's going to continue to release. And exciting news, and I love that we get to announce this. They've been approved for a 2nd season, which means more of David as he grows, as he gets older, as he takes over his kingdom. I'm so excited. This is just going to be amazing. And the people that will be reached and the souls that will be saved and people that will be curious about Christianity because they've seen this, it's going to have the same effect, like I said to John, as The Passion, as The Chosen. I told him in the beginning, and he's like, really? I'd like to think so. It did. I could see it's going to, and it is. It's that good. So excited about that. Another movie that's in theaters right now, Isaac, is The Last Supper. And it's a smaller, more independent production, but let's take a look at the trailer.
Take this and eat it. This is my body given for you. Whoever eats my flesh, drinks my blood, remain in me, and I in them. Do this in remembrance of me. I was a fisherman once, content to follow the rhythm of the tides. Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord. You know that I love you.
These men are friends of Jesus of Nazareth.
The time has come for us to prepare the Passover dinner.
Jesus of Nazareth, where is he?
Dear Caiaphas, if I knew, I would be with him.
People flocked to him. Why, Lord, did you not give such gifts to me?
Judas Iscariot. His inner struggles trouble me. You have the chance to change everything. I know where you can find him.
You have done well, traitor.
Should Caiaphas or the Romans appear, he entrusts us to be vigilant. You do not realize now what I'm doing.
He has nothing, yet he has everything.
Later, you will understand. I was a fisherman once, but he made me a fisher of men.
You know, Isaac, this was written and directed by Mauro Borelli, and it's kind of kicking off the Easter season, right? So it's coming at a time where people can watch this and remind us of Easter. It's a good film, and it's wonderfully done. You know, it's about, of course, the betrayal of Judas, and you know what Jesus goes through with the Last Supper, literally, and you know, to the crucifixion. It's just hard because I'm telling you now, filmmakers, when they're doing films like this, they're competing against The Chosen and The Passion and projects that are the House of David. I mean, when you see Jonathan Romy, we've all kind of become accustomed to him as Jesus. So now it's hard to watch another thing where another Jesus is played by another character because you keep thinking, well, Jonathan. So it's not that it's bad, folks. I'm just saying it's a little more challenging these days. And The Chosen season 5, The Last Supper, is coming out. So, you know, next weekend. So now it's kind of, at least they got ahead of that, but you know.
Yeah. And we have to make sure people don't confuse, because I know when I heard about the, you know, I somehow was saying, well, isn't it this one? And I thought it was the same one, but it's two different movies, you know, and one of them is called The Last Supper. The other one is The Chosen, The Last Supper. So
The Last Supper.
But
so they're going to
Last
have a little bit
Supper
of competition.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, no, the movie, and you know, it's kind of cool that there's a lot more of these biblical movies coming out. And in the past, biblical movies just kind of were pretty boring, you know, where Jesus just kind of walked in slow motion and there was no real personality. And nowadays, movies are being made where at least they're a little bit more interesting and entertaining to watch, but still biblical movies. So that's a really good thing.
Mauro Borelli actually put into this one more about Satan's snake. So you see the snake and you hear that voice of Satan and you hear that temptation. So he really did show the struggle Judas was going through and how he heard that in the temptation. So anyway, it's interesting, folks. That's in theaters right now. Okay. And I don't know if it's near you, but it's probably have a limited release or a limited run. Another movie that's coming out the end of the month is Audrey's children. And I love this story. Let's watch a trailer and then we can talk about it.
All righty.
The leading force in oncology, Dr. Audrey Evans.
Hello. Nothing more uplifting than pediatric cancer on a Thursday evening,
Then you came along. You got me all the time.
I have bold ideas. Our standard therapy regimens are simply not aggressive enough to handle such a sinister disease. In fact, I'm actually waiting on results for a revolutionary staging system. Could be a huge breakthrough in cancer research.
Add it to the queue.
You'll be able to apply for funding in about a year.
My children don't have a year. I'm so sorry.
I don't want you to be sorry. I want you to save my daughter.
Miss, you can't go back there. Miss.
She got Jarvis Pharmaceutical to sponsor her study. It's as if the rules don't apply.
Keep on keeping on! Imagine a house for families of sick children to stay for free. People travel from all over the world to be treated at CHOP, but often they cut their child's treatment short because they can't afford the hotels. We just need a little bit more time.
Time that you weren't afforded to begin with.
We have the opportunity to change the course of a deadly disease.
Oh, good grief. Have you lost your mind?
I'm not sorry for doing what I know is right for my children.
Get them to see the importance of the staging system. It could change everything.
Age is definitely another prognostic factor.
There's a fine line between impulse and action, Doctor. Find the line, Audrey.
My children count on me. They laugh with me. They cry with me. And they're counting on us. Each and every one of us to rise to the occasion and figure this out. We owe it to them to do just that. Because they're your children too.
You know, I love this story. First of all, did you all know that Dr. Audrey Evans was a Christian who started Ronald McDonald House? I didn't know that. And she started it because she could see kids with cancer that weren't being treated, that weren't being helped. And the parents, had nowhere to go, nowhere to stay for the long term. Kids were going through this. So she started the Ronald McDonald House to help the kids and to help the parents. And at that time, 10% of kids were being cured by cancer. Now 80% are being cured by cancer. And I love this story because, not getting a lot of my personal life in detail, but my son and daughter-in-law had a premature baby, my grandson Judah, last November, and he was 27 weeks. And they said, well, they had to stay here till his due date, which was February. So they had to stay there for 4 months. And they were like, what are we going to do? Do we get an Airbnb in Southern California? Because that's where they were visiting when this happened. Mm-hmm. It's expensive. And they, and Ronald McDonald, the caseworker said, we'll put you in Ronald McDonald House. I went there and visited at Christmas. Ronald McDonald House, they had 2 meals a day. They had breakfast, they had dinner. They had snacks during the day. They had toys, a room full of toys that kids could go in and pick up toys. Santa came and visited and gave all the kids 10 to 12 presents each. I mean, the families that didn't have hardly anything or much got to stay there and were just treated like royalty. It's like a hotel, right by Chalk Hospital in Orange County. So all I can say is I am now a loyal fan of Ronald McDonald House. And I thought that when you go to McDonald's, proceeds from that go to pay for it. It does not.
Wow.
It's funded separately and individually. So if you don't like McDonald's food, don't worry. It's not about that. It's about this house that really, I'm telling you, kids that were in there, one little girl the father accidentally burned her with tea and it scalded most of her body. They had to do skin grafts. Another person's baby was born on morphine and it was an addicted baby. They had to get it off. Another, ours was 27 weeks. These are all different cases in here. Yeah. So I just can't say enough about this movie, and you learn the behind-the-scenes story. And she was a Christian, and she had to fight for this as a woman, especially. So, really good film.
Wonderful. Well, yeah. President Trump loves McDonald's, and I love my Big Mac, so...
So, yay. I think you can donate to it, but it's it's not sponsored by it.
That doesn't give them a whole lot.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, what's next, Holly?
Well, you know what? I love to mention this. The Oscars ignored Reagan. I mean, and they said because there wasn't enough minorities. Well, I'm sorry, you can't change history. It is what it is. Reagan was white. So were most of the people that worked around. So were the Russians. I'm sorry. There was some black people in the movie, and other minorities, they're saying, But they're saying because it didn't have diversity, it wasn't considered.
Right.
Well, it's good to know that now it's on Amazon, it's on Hulu, it's streaming on all different platforms. And even Variety and the New Yorker and other magazines and have written saying it was really snubbed. It should have been considered. Other films in the past would have been. Others would have that have won Oscars had this kind of thing. So it should have been considered. But for those of you who missed Reagan, do we have a trailer to show them?
We sure do.
Let's watch. I do too. It never gets old for me. It just never gets old. Mark Joseph, who is our friend and the executive producer, did a great job with that. And who directed it? Do you remember?
I wish I did.
He's working with the Irwin brothers to do I Can Only Imagine 2. So I think he's on. I think he worked on Reagan as well, and he's on that project. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to it. But anyway, Reagan's a good movie. And so again, you can see it, folks. You can stream it on all the platforms. And if you haven't seen it and you didn't want to go to the theater, it's a perfect movie to sit down, get your popcorn. And honestly, you will be shocked how much similar it is to today's climate.
Yes.
As far politically, you will be very shocked at the riots on campuses that Reagan had to confront angry students, that Russia was coming in and the negotiations. It's like almost eerie how that time period is happening now with politics. So worth the watch for sure.
And if anything, they really should have accepted it for Best Actor, because I got to tell you, he did an amazing job of playing Reagan. It was just, sometimes I felt like, wait a minute, is that actual footage of Reagan?
You know what? Listen, you and I both know that it was shut out from the Oscars and shut out from the Academy because of all the prejudice against Christians and against conservatives and against Republicans, and because it was a Republican movie about a Republican. Let's just be honest. It wasn't about the diversity thing. We all know. It really was about that. Yeah. And that's sad because you're absolutely correct. Dennis Quaid should have won that award for playing Reagan. He did a phenomenal job. And there should have been other things considered, but hey, you know what? God knows that. So he honors it and he raises it in other places. So
Absolutely. Well, Holly, this was probably one of the most jam-packed shows we've ever had. And we've had some jam-packed ones, but this was amazing.
This was fun. So movies for all.
So we've run out of time. But folks, remember, go check out our website, faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com. All right, Holly, till next week. See you later.
Blessings.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at faithonfilmtv. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.